Hello Year 3. Today we're going to continue writing our instructions. The features of instruction writing. Well, we've already started our instructions with the title, the introduction and the list of things that we need. So today we're going to carry on. Next we need an outline of the method needed to complete the task, usually in chronological order. And we're going to use numbers to help us do that. Imperative verbs are usually used within the method to boss the reader around. Yes, those are the action words that we underlined earlier this week. Conjunctions, prepositions and adverbs to show the time, place and cause should be used throughout, e.g. after that, inside the box, as soon as it is melted, etc. So we're going to use lots of words like first and next and then and afterwards to help sequence these steps as well. And we're going to use ly words like gently and carefully to show how we should do things. Extra tips and advice may be given to the reader for especially tricky parts of a task. Here are our steps that we need to write instructions for. I've crossed out the first two because we're not going to write instructions for those parts. Those parts are for the plant to do and for the midge to do. So our first step is looking at the pod on the tree. And we're going to think about the bossy verbs that we need, the imperative verbs that we need for each step. Some of the ideas that we're going to use today might come from this word mat. There are lots of verbs here in purple boxes. Things like mix, place, cut, harvest, fold, stir, melt, heat, add, roast, spread. I think you know where we could use those in our instructions. On the notebook, I've included lots of adverbs. Adverbs of time, next, after, afterwards, now, before, firstly, finally, when and then, but also adverbs of manner that tell you how to do something, carefully, slowly, gently and quickly. So when we're doing our writing, we need to get some words from the purple boxes and some words from the notebook. And then we know that we're writing words, sentences with adverbs and sentences with verbs. So now we're going to think about some verbs for each step. It is very tempting to use the word put over and over again, but we need to get a variety of verbs in place. So let's look at the first picture. What is the person doing? What's the farmer doing? What action is he using? He's cutting or harvesting. So those are the words that I'm going to use. They're the actions that he's doing, the imperative verbs. What's in the next picture? Well, the cacao beans are collected from the pod. How do we get them out? You might hit it with a hammer or you might scoop them out from the inside. Okay, so those are the verbs that I need to get. Here we go. It says harvest or cut, scoop, and where the box is, you could place the beans in the box, you could tip them into the box or pour them in the box. I won't use all of these ideas, but it's good to have them ready. Which words could you use for the 5 pictures at the bottom? Pause the video now and work out the action. What's happening? What is going on? What is the doing that's taking place? That's what we're looking for, the verb, the doing word. Pause the video and have a think now. Did you think of some of these ideas? In the first picture, the action is spread. They're going to spread out the cocoa beans in the sun. In the second picture, the beans are being roasted and they're being stirred. There's 2 actions happening there. In the next picture, grind. The beans need to be ground into tiny pieces. The action, you're going to grind the beans. Then this picture here, there's 4 things I think might happen. You might mix the chocolate beans with other ingredients. You might stir them instead. You might add sugar and water. You might heat all of the ingredients together. And in the final picture, the action that's happening is pour. They are pouring the liquid chocolate. We're going to use these verbs as part of our instructions. One of the words that we thought of at the end, pour, also matches up with what we thought of for the box, about pouring the beans into the box. Now that I know I want to use it at the end, I've crossed it out underneath the picture with the box because I've already got two words there and I don't want to use the same word again and again. Here's the word map in case you need to look at this again. This is what we're going to use to help us think of the content of our sentences. So I've got my word mat in front of me, and on the side I've got the first picture for the first step and the second picture for the second step. Those are the things that I need to look at. It's quite a lot to fit on the screen, so I hope you can see it. Please go back to the other page to look closely at the words if you need to once you start writing. So, my first instruction, because it's my first, I'm going to use the word first at the beginning. And in the notes it said, when they're ready it turns yellow, red or orange and they're harvested by hand. So I need to say, what are you going to do first? Well, first check that the cocoa bean is ripe. You need to look for a cocoa bean that's yellow or red or orange, and then you know it's ready to be harvested. And once you can see if it's red or yellow or orange, then the farmer needs to cut it down with a sharp knife. Here's my first instruction. First, you will need to find a cocoa tree with yellow, red or orange cocoa pods. Cut them off the tree with a sharp knife. I've used first, which is an adverb, and I've used cut, which is a verb. Now we're ready for the next one. Here's the next picture, picture number 2. It says 20 to 50 cocoa beans are collected from a pod. Right, well, how am I going to start this one? I've used first, so if I look on the notepad up here, what could I choose? What would you choose? I'm going to choose the word next, I think, or maybe after. I'll think about how it would work. Now, we need to scoop out 20 to 50 cocoa beans collected from a pod. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to scoop them out or pull them out. So let me put all of that into a sentence. Number 2. Now scoop out 20 to 50 cocoa beans from the cocoa pods. That tells me the next thing to do. We're going to continue on with our sentences. Now it's your turn. If you want to pause the video to copy my sentences, you can. If you want to change them a bit and improve them, you can do that as well. It's up to you. But on the next slide, we're going to look at instructions 3 and instructions 4. Okay. Number 3 and number 4. For these ones, I've started you off. I've put number 3 and I've given you the sentence starter. Next, look at this picture here for what you would need to do. Where do the cocoa beans go and how long do they go there for? That's the information that needs to be in step 3. Now number 4. After that, what do we spread? And where do we spread it? How long does it need to be left there for? Pause the video and finish the sentences by copying the starters into your book and finishing them off yourself. Take as long as you need and use the words that are on this slide to help you. How did you get on? Did you write something like this? Next, place the cocoa beans in a dark box to ferment for a week. Number 4. After that, spread the cocoa beans out in the sun to dry. This will take 2 weeks. Is yours similar to mine? Then you're on the right track. Let's do the next steps. Here's the final 4 steps. You've got the picture and you've got the verbs underneath that are going to help you. Use the sentence starters to help you finish writing the instructions. If you want to change to fit your ideas, you can. They're only there to help you. Remember that you can go back and look at the word map with a variety of words on to help you improve your sentences. Don't forget to include those ly words to tell you how to do it. Pouring the chocolate carefully. Roasting the beans until they're nice and hot. Okay. Looking forward to hearing your responses and reading your work today. Here's the last slide with all the information on if you need to check again.